a mounted Canadian Rocky. Amazing performer, first-time kickball champion, just supernova, botanist, you name it. Here he is, Scott Thompson.
Yay!
Thank you.
We love you so. And you're on the road right now. You just were telling us earlier.
I am. Yeah, I'm in New Jersey. Had a couple of days off. I just did a show in, where was I? Philadelphia. Yeah, I think that's where I was. And then I'm off to New York tomorrow. Then I'm going to Atlanta and New Jersey.
Oh, fantastic.
No, New Jersey, that's where I am. I mean Nashville. They both start with that.
Yeah.
You're doing King as a Buddy Cole show, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that the right title? I don't want to miss the label.
It's like 12 monologues, and they all kind of lead up to a kind of staggering conclusion. So there is there's a narrative to it. It's got a story to it. Like they are kind of, the monologues can all live on their own, but then they all kind of come together at the end, and it's the first time I've ever done a show with Buddy where there's an actual arc.
Wow. That's
amazing.
Great.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Has the Kids at Hall been picked up again? Or
Oh, no, there's not going to be a second season.
There's not?
No.
That was amazing.
That's so stupid.
No, definitely no.
What in the hell is wrong with them? That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, honestly.
Everything.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started.
Okay.
Everything is wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, you can. I mean, I'm very open about it now. I mean, ever since I promised the boys that I would be quiet until the time was right. And now the time is right, and I can talk a little more honestly about what we went through.
Yeah.
And what we went through is what led to this show in many ways.
Oh, amazing. Well, I think, especially for like 80s and especially 90s sketch comedy, a lot of it was like hard punching and breaking boundaries of things you couldn't say or do on television, which today might read offensive. And so now you have these people, producers and industry people of a different generation who have a different level of sensitivity. Whereas you're like,
it's a completely different world.
And they don't know that it's like, hello, this is what we do.
Yeah, they're humorless.
This is our but even
humorless kids.
That's exactly what they are. Humorless.
But Kids in the Hall have a certain brand, I guess someone would say. But you know what I mean? Like your repertoire speaks a certain way, and it to try to counter that from an industry level, like producers or censors and things like that, or to tell the Kids in the Hall that they can't do Kids in the Hall.
I mean, I love to bitch about the shitty jobs I've had in the business. So do you want to say like what was?
Well, I'm just going to be. The truth is, with the Kids, with the series, it was a very difficult experience. I mean, I'm very proud of what we did because we're just very lucky in that we're very prolific.
Yeah.
And so you really can't stop us. Like in terms of like, I think if it's like 5 waves that make a tsunami, and you can block one of the waves, you can even block a couple of the waves, but you can't block the actual tsunami. It will come for you. And so what you do is when you block one of the channels, then the other ones get stronger. So when the wave eventually meets you, it's still going to be as strong as it ever was. It'll just be in a different area. So that's kind of what happened to us. We basically, we started writing this series just before the pandemic. And then 2 weeks into it, the world shut down. And I'd just gone back to Canada, and that we were all sent to our homes, and like the rest of the world. And in Canada, it went really hard. And we didn't see each other for like over a year, like a year and a half, and we kept communicating, and we didn't even know if it was going to continue. And then it picked up a year later, and but luckily we got another writing block, which was good because they kept cutting stuff out, and the censorship was so extreme. We had to do so much more writing. And then, of course, the pandemic, I think made people not think clearly.
Oh, absolutely.
And there we are, 5 old white guys, and we're the devil. And that's kind of what happened.
Yeah.
And I was like, but I'm a gay guy. I never had that male white privilege you're talking about. And they go, doesn't matter. We see you, but you don't really.
That actually is something. Is something really noticeable. Like white guys are definitely the villain right now, but gay white men.
Oh, villain and gay white men are the worst.
Yeah, and no one wants to really hear like we've had our chance, sort of a thing. Like we've had our moment.
Yeah, I noticed that Ryan Murphy is really being shut down left and right.
But especially
Laura, I sense a little skepticism.
No.
No, I do, and I'd like to get into that.
I love you so. No, okay. Do you think there's anything less?
Because I can't speak for Ryan Murphy. I don't have that kind of power.
But
all I know is they went hard on us, and they went doubly hard on me. And if you watch the series, there are no Buddy Cole monologues. They weren't allowed.
Wow.
Which is like signature.
And this is going to hurt, so you should buckle up. All of our material had to be cleared by the Sensitivity Committee, which is the DEI. And are you ready? GLAAD.
Wow.
The call is coming from inside the house.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Exactly it, Daniel. The call is coming from inside the house.
Scott, a friend of mine who was on this show, Liz Astroff, was saying she had a show called Pivoting, and then she had a meeting about it not coming back, and it was with 3 women, all in their 40s-ish, 30s, 40s.
White women, I bet it.
What's that?
Mostly white women?
Yeah, the executives. And they said...
executives, of course.
Right. They said to her, we found, our audience just isn't interested in women in their 40s. It's like, you're a woman in your 40s. Like, who the hell is, you know what I mean?
What are you watching?
Yeah, it's like, okay. Like, but hearing that from women, and just like you're saying, like hearing GLAAD say, we don't want a gay character on here. It's like...
Or like
you
the
can't
signature
win.
gay character.
But it's not gay character, it's me.
Yeah. It's personal.
It's me.
It's personal.
Yeah.
Are you finding on the road the audience? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, it's unbelievable. This has been the most vindicating tour I've ever done.
Oh, I'm so glad.
To just have the incredible love from the audience and to see them so ready for this kind of material. It's like, I think I might actually catch a wave. Like, people are tired of this.
Yeah.
And people have to really understand that what's happening is it's moved from one side to the other. And the difference is the kids in the hall, when we fought censorship, I accept that we're always going to find censorship. We're always going to fight it. Because there's always going to be a certain amount of people, regardless of what side they identify with, who are pills. And that pill
That's a nice place to put it.
They will always, right? They will always fill that quotient up. It doesn't matter what they call themselves, what they look like, how they identify. They're pills, and that's what happened to us.
Yeah.
And so it was an extraordinary experience because I got there was their orders would come down with like, GLAAD wants this removed, and it was mostly my material.
Wow.
And so I felt the entire it was a nightmare, and I just went, you know what? I kind of went, I don't know, it's just like almost like, how could my life have led to this? How could people that supposedly are like me are protecting people like me from people like me? And yet they're doing that by not letting me be heard. And it was incredibly difficult, but I was so sad by it. I mean, I was angry, but I was really sad about what was happening. But I gave all of that to Buddy, and he took it and was like, what the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Who cares what these pills think? You know you're right.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of, I had a profound transformation during the pandemic. I didn't cut my beautiful long hair off.
Like Daniel did.
I realized. But I just thought, well, I have to accept this is where I'm at. And anger's not going to help. No one wants to see that. But so I thought, well, I'll give it to Buddy. And he just took it and turned it around.
Fantastic.
And now it's like triumphant. Because
Buddy Cole is universal.
Now it's interesting because I feel transformed by the experience, because I feel in a strange way grateful to the roadblock, because having to go around it made me find even a better path, a funnier path.
Yeah. I mean, what I like to say is what doesn't kill you.
So it's been...
Yeah. What doesn't kill you makes you a burden
really
to someone else.
What happened?
Did you hear me? Oh, no.
No, I didn't, but I'm pretending to laugh as if
No.
No, because I knew it was fun.
No, it doesn't. It's not worth repeating, but I'm going to. What doesn't kill you makes you a burden to someone else. That's what I like to say.
That's worth repeating. That's worth repeating.
No. In your case, like you got knocked down, but it made it even better. So it was good because you had a new pathway for Buddy to say, "Come on."
Basically, but basically, Buddy Cole begins the show by saying, that basically Amazon didn't want me to talk directly to the camera because they believe that me talking directly to the camera might make the audience think that we were on a Zoom call and they might all start to masturbate.
Yay.
And then Buddy goes, which made complete sense to me. After all, I used to confuse my Cameo account with my OnlyFans, which somehow got me booted off Twitter.
Oh my God.
I love it.
Buddy Cole should have an OnlyFans. That would be a hit.
He really should.
That's like,
He really
should do that.
You know what? If I'd done a Buddy Cole OnlyFans, Amazon would have gone for it.
Yeah.
They would have said, they would have loved it. I'm going to show my bum hole. Oh, more of that. More of that.
You don't have to.
We
on
could make more
OnlyFans.
money. Yeah.
You can be
more starfish shots.
Yeah. You don't have to be.
Because the censorship today it's not about nudity. It's not about sex. It's about identity politics. And those things things are changing. We were not allowed to even weigh in. And that's what's interesting is that the fault lines throughout our society are the places that I thrive. It's where we thrive. And then to be told that you're not allowed to do that, and it's the people that are supposedly on your side, is just very bewildering.
Well,
it's like before when it was the religious right. I go, well, at least they're not my friends and people that I hang out with all the time.
That I don't want to spend any time with.
Yeah.
It's your friends that have become pills.
Yeah, it's cannibalism.
And that's a difficult thing to accept.
Yeah. I often describe other gay men as cannibals because there's just like this very like...
Okay, man. We can't even get into that. There's not enough time. It's just
but even in the throes of the pandemic, having a project like that to work on, even to be mad and frustrated with, like creatively, like what a fucking beacon of hope.
You know what, Daniel? That's exactly true. Because I would say that to myself. I'd be like, okay, I'm alone with my cats. I can't see anyone. I'm going crazy. I'm gaining weight. I'm drinking all the time. But I go, but at least I have something that I'm working on. And even it's difficult. And I know that there is a window. Like I went, there is a window at the end of this. And that kept me going.
Yeah.
And so I am grateful for that. And I'm glad that we had the 2 weeks prior so that we could be together physically.
Yeah.
And but it was very difficult. But I just love sketch comedy. So no matter what you do, I'm still going to do it because I just accept that there's always going to be roadblocks.
For sure. It's just it's more shocking when it's the people that you're working with.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is kind of shocking what I've told you. It is.
Yeah.
I think it needs to be addressed. People need to understand this is not good. This is not the way art is made.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Censorship comes in all kinds of forms.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, censorship. Yeah.
When I first moved to LA, I just happened to be on a show with you and like could not believe my luck.
I remember.
And was like, this is how Hollywood works. And like, or just, just seeing, running into someone like you. Because of course, Kids in the Hall was like formative. And it was also something in America you had to get. Was it called the Cube or something you had to have? It was cable, but it wasn't accessible. You had to have a friend who had it. So, and that's how I saw your show.
It's not Quibi.
No, 100 years
what's
before
Quibi?
that.
No.
It's extinct. It's extinct.
Oh, okay.
But we knew Buddy Cole was the one. That was like what we laughed at. That was what like we would talk about. It was like gay code for a while. Even I will never forget, we did a fucking musical. We did Godspell, right? And there was this one fucking closeted kid. It was the best. And he had one line. And he didn't know he was doing Buddy Cole, but he was doing Buddy Cole. He was cross-legged on a pylon going, "Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness." And then, he just sort of took a swig of a martini. And we did that show 100 times. And every time I was like, here it comes. every time.
I know we should have our martinis with us right now.
He'd swing around, but he didn't know he was doing Buddy Call. I feel like you really tap into a real queerness that you say audiences are like receptive to right now. But I feel like he's eternal.
Especially at the end when they realize where I'm going, and when they realize what Buddy's saying. I'm not even going to give it away.
Yeah, no,
because it's too exciting. Because they go, what? It's like a coming out again. You'll see.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy shit, this is fun. I'm doing something I'm not supposed to do. And that's thrilling.
I'm going to guess you're going to come out as straight. Is that what it is? The twist?
Are you received?
I didn't hear anything.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm a woman talking. Why should you listen? Right?
Well, can you lower your register so it's in a more normal?
I'm of all people have the deepest voice of this goddamn
of this whole show.
You too. You know, we're the counter tenors.
I know. God damn it.
I can't help it. My gayness made my voice sound like this. I worked with a dude. I worked with a straight guy, and he was from Michigan, so he didn't know he was a bigot. He was just born that way. He didn't know. He would say all kinds of horrible things. And one day he had a really fucking femme customer, and he came up to me of all people. He goes, "Why do they talk like that?" I was like, "Talk like what?" And I was like, "What do you fucking mean?" I know. We're all fucking.
Oh, that's my pet peeve when men do impressions of their girlfriends on stage, and that they always, I can't go out with that. You know, I'm just like, so everybody's married to
that's how they see them,
to a Southern gay guy. Is that it?
I was at a bar.
In a Tennessee Williams play.
They're all Delilahs.
Jesus, yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I do declare.
This is not the pleasantest time of year to renew acquaintance here at Glorious Hill.
I've always depended upon the company,
the kindness of strangers.
You're a good damsel.
And when you speak about this, and I know you will, be kind. I don't think the young gay ones know this anymore.
Damn it.
I know.
This kind of
that's the thing.
Tennessee Williams, you know.
He was the old gay.
Talk.
These two guys in Boston, I was sitting next to them at a bar, and I was alone, so I was eavesdropping. And they were very manly, but gross. They were like really ugly, but their Boston accent made them really hot. But the whole
how?
I can't explain it.
I just played Boston, absolutely.
You know what I mean? They were just like, they were so and just like, but the whole time these two dudes were like bitching about their old ladies. And it was the most like derogatory, disrespectful thing. And so I was like, oh, they're horrible people, but their accents make them so fucking like horny. Like I can't explain it. And they were commiserating so hard that it made it bro-y, which made it gay. Do you know what I mean? Like I was just like
it came full circle.
I just kept ordering drinks so I could hear more.
Should we make up it came full starfish? We'll make a
almost, but it really just seduced me, like their misogyny / that horrendous accent. I was into it.
Man,
where are you from?
Oh, yeah.
You're from? I know Canada, but like where?
I'm from a town called Brampton, which is north of Toronto, but I'm an Ontario boy.
Are you in Kids in the Hall? Or are you more famous in Canada? Or do you have a different reception?
Oh yes,
yeah.
Oh yes.
What is
there's
that?
a Scott Thompson Street in. Canada.
No, there's not.
Yeah,
I have a star. I have 2 stars. I have 3. I have one in Toronto for the Kids in the Hall and the Walk of Fame.
Oh, great.
I have one in my hometown, Brampton, and then the place where I'm born in North Bay. So I have 3 stars.
That's amazing. Yes. I love that.
Yeah.
That's fucking great.
Meanwhile, Laura showed us her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
What?
And then you got ticketed.
I know. Is that what it's called?
You what?
Yeah.
Laura, do you have a star?
No. God, no. No. And you know something? They charge $50,000. That's more than I make in a year to have your own fucking star.
That's more than you have to pay for an Oscar.
Oh my God. Yeah. Jesus.
Cheaper than an Emmy.
So it's like the most expensive vanity plate that you could have, having a star on the Walk of Fame.
Exactly.
It's just crazy.
But yeah, no, I'm from Canada. All of us are from, we're all from Canada. Yeah.
Yeah. Where did you guys shoot Brain Candy?
Oh, Toronto.
That was all in Canada?
Yeah, everything was done in Toronto.
We saw that movie so many times. We had to lie to our parents about what movie we were going to because they wouldn't give us money to go see it again. Do you know what I mean? It was like we're
Really?
going, because it was so indie to us, and it was so like it was so
Brilliantly funny that you had to go a few times too because there's so many things that you would miss the first time because it was subtle, and then you go, oh my god, that's
When you saw Brain Candy, was there anybody else in the theater with you? Was it always in a Lemon?
Yeah, it was very much the cool kid thing.
We wore trench coats just in case.
No, I mean we didn't pay for snacks, but I remember lying to say we were going to go see the movie Hackers.
Oh,
but instead we had to sneak in to go see Brain Candy. What was that like to watch something evolve from like sketch comedy to television to like movie? That has to be like.
Well, that was a very Brain Candy was difficult because we set ourselves a really ridiculous goal. We said we're not gonna fill it with all of our running characters because that might make it successful. So we're gonna create all brand new characters. We'll put a couple of it. We'll put in the Queen for one line. But Mom, no, that would just be too easy. And we're gonna make it a narrative.
Right.
We were so stupid.
That's
And then we
funny.
thought, and we're gonna take on the pharmaceutical industry. That's what we're gonna do.
Right.
And we're gonna fill it with gay and lesbian characters. We're gonna dress as women.
Oh my God.
It's gonna be a huge hit.
Yeah.
but you're a voyeur because the pharmaceutical industry really needed to be knocked even then.
Yeah, you
and
were
especially
early in.
now. Yeah.
Who were you watching as like a kid when you were getting started and stuff? Who were you into?
Well, I never really thought about being a comedian when I was young. I wanted to be a movie star that was funny on talk shows.
Yeah.
I wanted to be Burt Reynolds. I wanted to be Robert Morley. I wanted to be someone that had stories.
Yeah.
You know, I Peter Ustinov. These are people that they used to come in and you go, oh yeah, they're great in the movies, but they're going to tell a story. Or David Niven, people like that.
Yeah.
I would
love
go,
David
as I read The Moon's a Balloon, I went, that's the kind of life I want to have.
Yeah.
But I never dreamed that I could be an actual comedian because I thought, well, comedians talk about their life and I know I'm gay. And I didn't come out till much later. And I thought, I can't talk about my real life. So I would watch people on like Johnny Carson and that. And I go, God, they really know how to tell a great story. Like today we've got people like Martin Short and those people that are just phenomenal guests. Or Amy Sedaris.
Yeah.
I want to be a guest like that.
Totally.
And then I went to acting school. And, and I thought, I went to acting school. I wanted to be a Shakespearean actor. I wanted to do Shakespeare.
Wow.
I wanted to do all that stuff. I wanted to be dramatic. And then I thought, maybe I can do stand-up. And then when I graduated, I did a bit, but it was very, very difficult. Because I was that's when I started coming out. And this is the mid-'80s. You couldn't be an openly gay man. And you couldn't even, in comedy, impossible.
Yeah.
And then I'd met the kids in the hall, and then I can go there. I can hide with them until the war is over because of AIDS and everything.
Oh God.
I mean,
Kinda.
but that's very. Yeah.
That's basically how it was for me. I went, well, there's a war, and there's you can't really choose the time you're born into, but holy cow. And I know, but that's not the question you asked. You asked about Brain Candy, but it's true. Like Brain Candy, we made a lot of dumb mistakes. Although I'm very proud of the movie, and I'm glad
it's
of
a
it.
great movie.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, this is the thing I've realized more and more is that all the things that I wanted when I was younger, first starting out, was like because I wanted superstardom.
Sure.
That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
I thought that would solve everything, but I didn't quite realize that that's kind of a recipe for early flame out.
Yeah.
Like a disaster.
Yeah.
And that huge success can be just as devastating as failure.
Yeah.
And so I think in a way we dodged a bullet.
You mean all of us for not
Because
making it? Is that what you're saying?
All of us, everybody in this room.
What if we think we're stars?
Well, you can still think I still think I'm a star, but nobody else does because no one recognizes me anymore. So they just wonder, why is that guy?
No.
You just have to. If you think you're a star, you just have to put it in, $50,000 if you really think it.
Yeah.
And then put it in the ground.
But you know what? If cult success kind of guarantees longevity.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Like,
I mean, I haven't had that either, but I think you're right.
No, I feel like
Yes,
you
you
are.
have.
Yeah, you are.
Oh,
though.
come on.
You
No,
are? Are you kidding me? When I told people here that was Laura Keitlinger, they go, "Oh my God, she's fantastic."
See, I tell you,
got a-
Laura
you've
doesn't
got a
get it.
cult
She
following.
doesn't get it. But
Whatever.
you know that
Yeah.
y'all do. I mean, absolutely. Like, you guys give me the same vibe as like a John Waters kind of thing, where it's like generational. There's a darkness to it. But it's also just gender bendy. There's like a queerness to y'all's show.
And I think it's elevated. It's subtle and thought provoking. Like, I mean, some of the shit now, like just even stuff on TikTok, I'm like, they could fart for an hour and then they've got 20 million followers. And I'm just like, wow,
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I
and
watched
SNL was like that too.
I just watched. They
Back.
they posted somewhere on YouTube Jack Frost interview with David Frost interview with Jack Benny. And
I thought it'd be David Frost interviewing Jack Frost.
It was like
That'd be the one I want to see.
the two.
I want to see that one.
They turns out they were related.
But it's so slow. Like, their conversation is so slow paced, and there's no sense of urgency to getting a story out and all of that. Like Shelley Winters on The Tonight Show,
No, another great guest.
right?
I love her.
Like, because she would talk shit. She would name names, like all of it.
Oh my Lord! I watched one Shelley Winters last night. I don't know why I fell down a Shelley Winters hole.
Yes.
Yeah.
But she was with I think not Phoebe Cates. I can't remember the actress. She was in. I'm going to say the most obscure movie she ever made, but she was in Corvette Summer.
Oh,
I love Corvette Summer.
I was performing on a cruise ship. Comedy, not blowjobs.
I just want to find out. But what did Shelley Winter say in that interview?
Well, she was she said to the actress, she goes, "Oh, I love you. I think you're great. I've seen you around, but I don't know what you're in." And she goes, "Oh, Shelley, maybe it was the movie we made together."
Unbelievable.
I love it.
It's so good.
Wait.
But Shelley didn't miss a beat. She went, "Oh God, of course you were wonderful."
Yes. Did you?
And then Johnny Carson goes, "Oh boy, I can't believe you pulled yourself out of that time." But like I used to remember. Do you remember Betty Davis when she came back and she was skeletal?
Oh my
and
God.
Yeah.
Smoking on the
Post
were the days.
stroke,
I was
still smoking.
post-stroke.
Still smoking.
Post-stroke, still smoking, funnier than ever.
Funnier
Oh,
than
yeah.
ever. Like, unstoppable. And it was, who did she name? There's one guest.
Unstoppable.
I think it's Joan Rivers, where she's like, who's the worst actress you've ever worked
That's
with?
the one.
And she says, "For all my money, Faye Dunaway."
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Doesn't blink.
Yeah.
Is it Faye Dunaway?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
because Faye was mean to her too. I think.
Yeah,
It
but
was
like that-
Oh no,
Yeah.
she was young. It was a young Faye Dunaway because Faye was young then, and then it's like this new actress, Faye Dunaway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the dollar amount she puts on it though? She does put. She's like, for $1 million, Faye Dunaway. Like, fucking puts money on the table.
And there was
But I look at that. Sorry, I was just saying. But she's like kind of an inspiration for like me, like in terms of comedy.
Oh,
And I go,
yeah.
Just because I go, look at her. She's still going, and she's funnier than ever.
Yeah.
I go, it's like Buddy. This is Buddy now. He's this Buddy now is Buddy post Betty Davis stroke.
and to embrace I think embracing the bitterness is something
It's
too.
like the woman.
Well,
Her mouth was already on this side of her face, right? And then
Yeah.
the bitch has a
Already.
stroke, and now it's like over here,
know.
and she's still smoking and talking shit out of that side. Like, it is a miracle.
But even when she had like genuine fans, just falling all over her, whatever. Like she did some like kind of. I'm not sure what it was. It was like a big kind of a. Not a talk show, but anyway, I'm having a stroke right now. She said that someone asked her, what would you tell this young artist, or young women who want to be actresses? What tips would you give them to acting? And she said, take Fountain, it's faster.
Oh yeah, no, that's fucking
that's it.
Joan
That's the
Crawford,
Oh, wait, Joan said it?
right? Or is it Betty Davis?
I thought it was Betty Davis.
I think it's Betty.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
sorry.
anyway,
Cake
but anyway.
Fountain.
Yeah.
I have to call up that long. I'm post-stroke.
but-
Did you know that, Kenton?
But it was
I had a brain aneurysm 3
What?
years ago. I had a brain aneurysm in 2020.
You did not.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
No,
What,
no, that's
wow,
okay.
what happened?
I think I'm stronger
obviously
than
what
ever.
happened? You had an aneurysm.
Yeah.
What?
It just my
We should dress you like Betty Davis one of
I
these
know.
times. Like we should put you in the fucking leopard askew
I
hat.
wanted to after I got out of it or whatever. I wanted to have people over and just say hi. What would anybody do if they didn't know I hadn't recovered?
Didn't know. It's an aneurysm party.
So did that happen during the pandemic? Or was
It
that
did,
before?
and Jesus,
Can it be
poor
stress
Garrett-
induced? Can a
Yeah, well, they
aneurysm
say
be?
that's what's so crazy. Okay, you almost die, and then they say it's dehydration and stress. Like I could twist my ankle from dehydration and stress. But Garrett, my husband, was kind enough to actually be listening to me, unlike most male comics with their wives. He listened to me and noticed I wasn't making any sense and took me to the doctor. And then I had my brain had been bleeding for 3 days.
Jesus.
Yeah,
She always brags about that
because a
part.
vessel just pops in your brain. And what
Yeah,
can you do?
3 days.
She always
Yeah.
brags about that one.
I know.
What's the perfect amount for your brain to bleed? Like a day?
I'm gonna-
It's like I'm just thinking.
Probably
like,
not at
what's the
all.
sweet spot.
Well, there's intermittent.
Oh, not at
There's
all.
intermittent
Yeah.
fasting, and then there's intermittent bleeding because you don't want to cause
I think so.
brain bloat. That's unattractive,
Right.
No,
right?
no.
Especially during
No,
award season.
intermittent brain bleed.
That
I
was
think
the
that's what
last
I
time
think
there was
is
any
going
internal
on.
blood in my body.
What? We should turn this into a medical show one of these days.
God. Anyway,
Do you like
Oh, God,
touring?
I could talk forever.
I miss seeing you. Oh, so we
know-
we will come and see you.
Yeah, I want to see the show.
Where can we? We're going to plug this again at the end, but can we come and see you? Wait, you're in New
He's
Jersey.
in Nashville.
You're in Nashville.
The next
You have
week.
to go to Nashville or Atlanta.
No,
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like we could do one of those.
I love
anyway.
touring. I love live performing. I've seen Kids in the Hall live. I saw you guys at Moon Tower a few years ago. I saw y'all twice.
Oh, yeah.
Couldn't get enough of it. And the audience loved you guys. Oh, it was the wedding. We wear our wedding dress for you, and the curtain goes up.
Oh yeah. And now that wedding dress, Amazon wouldn't allow that.
Which is so nuts.
They called it transphobic.
See, here's the thing. It's like
I'm not kidding.
I believe you, but they don't know that that's what Kids in the Hall. Not the Kids in the
They don't know anything.
But when the curtain came up and the five of you were in these kind of like goth, it's very, I don't know, Victorian wedding dress, white dresses, and they're holding these, all y'all did at the beginning, held a pose, right? Before anyone says anything, they just hold this pose. And the place is going nuts in liberal Austin, Texas.
Nuts. Yeah. We just did, I guess 2 or 3 weeks ago, we were at Sketchfest in San Francisco. And we did 2 nights of the Kids in the Hall. Then I did the third night King.
Oh, you
At
did?
Sketchfest. It was quite something. It was quite a week. But the first night we did Kids in the Hall, like unplugged, where we did a lot of our sketches, all kinds of sketches, but without any real bells and whistles, not a lot of wigs or costumes, just like almost like an old school Rivoli show.
Yeah.
And it went really well. The next night we did the band material, and we did a lot of the band material from Amazon. We basically did things that people have censored us with all through the years.
Wow.
We started with like stuff that the CBC censored. Even the HBO censored. We started with things where the Kids in the Hall censored each other. That was the best. It began with, we started the show, and it was great. The audience went crazy. But we began with the show with the very first piece that I'd written for the group, called the Rectum Vagina Challenge, which was parodying like the Pepsi Challenge.
Yes.
And basically, I built a little box that had like round holes and then vagina-shaped hole. I don't know.
Don't look at me. I certainly don't know. I don't look down there.
And I would go on the street. It was a man on the street thing where I would say, "Ma'am, if you're gonna," and it was also parodying the stovetop challenge, which was people comparing stuffing that was put in the bird and stuffing that was cooked on the stove. And so we would get people and it was this scene where I would get people on the street, and I'd go, "Ma'am, if you were going to offer your husband at home rectum or vagina, what do you think he would choose?" And she would go, "Oh, he'll choose vagina." And then then they would stick their cocks through the hole and fuck them, and I would go, "Okay, try the next hole." And then they go, "Oh, this is the one." And then I would go, "What did you choose?" And I'd pull it up and go, "You chose rectum."
Wow.
And then it's like, ladies, 9 out of 10 men choose rectum. And the kids in the hall did not want me to do it. And it wasn't homophobia, maybe a little, but it was mostly because it went against our rules, which we didn't do parody. So that's what but we did all these, and then the Amazon material I did a Buddy Cole monologue that wasn't allowed, it killed. We did all these sketches that we'd written that just killed. And it was the beginning of this vindication where I went, well, I knew they were wrong, because the only true arbiter of what's funny is the audience.
Right.
That's the only ones that matter. And this tour has been wonderful for me, because it's like I'm getting my mojo back.
Yeah.
And that's what this show is. It's Buddy Cole basically claiming his crown.
Amazing.
Is that what you get recognized for the most? Do people immediately conflate Scott Thompson with Buddy Cole?
Yes. Yes, and quite often they'll put a picture of Buddy. They'll say it's me, and it used to bother me, but I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's fine, because I realize that's only my own internalized self-loathing, because I'm going, I'm not that feminine, and I'm going, well, you're feminine, Scott. You're hardly a big butch cowboy. You're not Daniel. You don't have a pickup truck with your long hair flowing in the wind, top down. I assume your pickup truck is a convertible.
It's got a moonroof.
That's what I always say. I say
Yes.
people can't believe that I drive a pickup truck. I say, yeah, I believe it or not, yeah, I'm a top and I drive a truck. Read it and weep.
Yeah.
That's exactly. That's like Buddy confesses to the audience that he's a top, and that's the most
Shocking. I love.
That's when people walk out. That's when the walkouts begin.
Oh, it's not.
That's the last straw.
I tell you, it's not a show unless you
Yeah,
walk
that's the last
people.
straw.
I think it's important to walk people.
Do Canadians love guns the way we do here in the United States?
In a different way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fallacy that Canada is a country that doesn't have guns. There's guns everywhere.
Yeah.
Lots of people have guns. And in rural areas, lots of people do. But we like rifles.
Oh, okay.
We like long guns.
Like, hey, well, here, here's the thing.
We don't like pistols.
Here's partly why I bring it up. There was a mom who was arrested for her son shooting her kids in the school, but she gave him
the gun.
And I think, like, not even as an homage to Hemingway, who, his mom gave him a gun. Would you give a kid a gun? I don't have kids, but I know I would never give a kid a gun. Because it's not a gift, really. It's a suggestion.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
It
is.
Isn't it?
And it's also, it's very passive-aggressive violence from the mother.
Yeah.
Well, like the gun thing is interesting because, I don't know, when I was young, I was in a mass shooting. So I have a very different feeling of
Were you truly? You really were?
Yes, I truly was.
Wow.
Yes.
Are you kidding? Can we talk about it?
Yes,
or do you want to talk
No,
about it?
yes, you can. You brought it up, and you can talk. We can talk.
Where?
So I have a very personal relationship to that kind of violence.
Wild. Where were you?
So
Was it just at home?
in school, it was a school
Just
shooting.
your parents?
Are you kidding?
Wow.
It was,
Just your
no,
family.
I'm not. No, the boy behind me shot up my class when I was 16.
Are you shitting me? So, that's why you're a comedian.
Horrible.
Yes, that's actually that you've stumbled upon
your origin story.
Well, and he was right behind. He was somebody that you were in class with at the time.
I was on my way to class and I was a little late.
Wow.
And it wasn't that class, but that's when he shot 16 people and 3 died.
Okay.
And you felt like you could have been part of that. You would have been killed also.
Well, I was, because I had to. I had a teacher that saved my life because I was running the class, and then it all erupted, and I didn't understand what I was seeing. I'd never seen guns before. I'd never seen that. I'd seen blood before, but not like that.
Wow.
And I didn't really accept what was happening because I was too young, and these sorts of things had never happened before. This is the very beginning. This all began really a long time ago, and it began really in my small town. And so I didn't quite understand what was happening. So when it erupted, I heard it, and I remember hearing the shots, but I'd never heard gunshots before, ever, really. So I thought it was just firecrackers. And then I kept going, and then I smelled gunpowder, and I just thought it was, fireworks. And that's when I saw blood, and I went, this isn't good. And then people ran by me, and they yelled, he has a gun. And I was just about to turn the corner where he was. And then a teacher saved my life. He grabbed me and threw me into a classroom where I hid for the next 45 minutes until we were released by the police.
Holy shit.
But so I have a very personal relationship to this.
Yeah.
So I have been, this is a kind of a wound that erupts that's a wound that keeps coming open.
So I was going to ask, like,
wait, I have to remember for 2 seconds. Scott, do you mind?
I know, I can't believe you asked for it.
No, I
darling,
wanna know.
I was just going to ask you to move back because I'm losing the end of your. Thank you. Scott's been shot.
Is it?
Okay. Well, you want to know one of my jokes is I'm doing stand up about it now, and this is it's actually very dark. It's very funny.
Yeah.
When I finally got home, when I finally got released, and I eventually made my way home, my mother I've come from a family of 5 boys, and there were 2 of us in school, and my mom had been waiting for hours for me to come home, and it's not like today. There was no. She didn't run out onto the lawn and embrace me in tears. She just stood behind the screen door looking at me with her hands on the hips because I'd taken so long to get home. And she's like, well, you took a long time. And I'm like, well, and I thought she would like hug me and go, oh my God, my baby's home. She's going, why didn't you call me? I go, well, we didn't. I didn't say, we don't have cell phones, Mom. It's the 70s. But, she was a time traveler. But I was like, she didn't want to show any. She just was like, well, your brother got home an hour and a half ago. Where were you? I'm like, well, I was sorry that I was hiding under a desk. And then she says to me, and my brother, I have 2 brothers, and they're playing basketball in the carport, right?
Wow.
And they're like, and I was upset, and my brother goes, what are you upset about? You didn't get shot. I go, no. My joke is that I wasn't physically wounded, but I'm covered with emotional wounds.
Oh, yeah.
Which they're not like scars. Like it's about scarring. I go, yes, I don't have any physical scars, but I'm covered with emotional scars. But they don't get you laid. They just make you better in bed.
Yes.
But this is what my mother literally said to me when I said to her, "Where's Dad?" So the shooting happened at 11:38 a.m. And I didn't get home till about 3. And I said to my mom, "Where's Dad?" I assumed she'd called my dad and he'd come home. And she said to me, "Well, your father's at work." And I went, "At work?" And she said, "Well, of course he's at work." I said, "Well, why didn't you call him?" She says, "Scott, I'm not allowed to call your father at work unless it's an emergency." It's a quote. And it wasn't an emergency because I wasn't actually shot.
You were not hurt.
Unless it's an emergency.
That's how different the world has. That's how much we've changed.
Yeah. Wow.
And we were back in school in 3 days.
That was my next question.
They hadn't repaired anything. It happened on a Wednesday. They gave us a Thursday and Friday off. We were back on Monday. And my teacher there were 2 dead in my class. He was dead. She was dead. There were 2 wounded. And no one there was no counseling. No one did anything for us. We had a teacher that babysat us. It was near the end of the year. It was May 28th. And they just people were so traumatized by it that they just kind of pretended it didn't happen. And now you cut to many, many years later. I have a screenplay that I've written about it called, it's inspired by it, called Dance with My Bones. And I've been working on it for over 20 years.
Wow.
I started writing it the day after Columbine because Columbine really, I hate that word triggered because but it did open up the wound again.
Wow.
And that's when it's interesting. Can I tell you this story?
Yeah, I want to know.
Scott, I wanted
Is this
to
all right?
ask you first did anything happen with the kid that did the shooting? Did he kill
Yes,
himself
he shot
too?
himself. He shot himself. He blew his head off. But yeah. But here's the so what happened to me, and my movie. I've been working on it for a long time, but I finally finished it during the pandemic, when I went again. More good that came out of this darkness because I finally could finish this screenplay because I couldn't. It's taken me almost like 25 years, over 20 to write this because I had to. First of all, the writing process was I had to separate myself from the actual story, right? I had to make it fictional,
Right.
because it's not a memoir. I wanted to bring people in, and the original. When I first started writing it, it was very much like what you would do for a psychiatrist, where they'd say, "I want you to write down everything that happened." So I was very adamant about trying to be truthful to everything. But I realized I was just really trying to honor everybody that had gone or people that had been hurt.
Yeah.
Because we were emotionally hurt and no one understood that then.
Yeah.
But then I realized that was no way in.
Sure.
And I had to fictionalize it. And it all began because the night of Columbine, I had a dream. And dreams usually tell me what to do. So this dream, I was partying up to no good, and up to no good. And there was a knock at the door, and I went to the door, and it was my teacher, Mrs. Wright, because I can't even say her first name because you didn't call a teacher by their first name unless you were going to shoot them. Then you could use their first name. But she was
Or sleep
waiting
with
for
them,
me,
right?
and or sleep with them.
Yeah,
And
right.
That's for another podcast. But she said to me, she looked in, she's like, "What are you doing?" I go, "I'm nothing. Hey, Mrs. Wright, how you doing?" And she said to me, "Scott, I want you to dance with my bones." And I woke up and I wrote it down, and the next day I started writing.
Wow.
And now because this whole movie, and now it's in development.
Fantastic.
Yes.
And I hope to direct it.
Yeah.
That's
what
amazing. That's so
the
great.
end goal.
Great.
I'm going to direct this movie.
That's amazing. Have you done directorial things before? Is that something you've?
No, I've directed little shorts and stuff like that. No, never. No, but this is probably the only film I'll ever direct. I don't even know if I'll even ever write another screenplay because it was so difficult. Although I learned so much about how to write a screenplay because I realized halfway through the process where it was Bruce McCullough helped me. He said, "Scott, this is really riveting, but it's your story. And I know this is what happened, but you have to fictionalize it." And then I would hear her say to me, "Dance with my bones." I didn't say show my bones, dance with them. So that gave me permission to make it a story, right?
Yeah.
So like it's my Stand By Me.
Honestly,
And,
that is a fascinating. The word dance, like it's not. It's
dance,
a
exactly.
celebratory
And I didn't.
word.
Yeah. It's dance with me because she was my English teacher, right? It was my English class. And she was the first person in my life that had ever truly seen me. Because, in a way, because she was very young. She was 26 years old. She was just married. She just started her career. They say she was pregnant. I'm not exactly sure what happened. But she was my English teacher. And I was a kid that I was smart, but I got into a lot of trouble.
What were you up to?
Everything. I never shut up. I was a class clown.
Yeah.
But I was really good at English, and I was an incredible reader. I was a real bookworm. And I did well. I was the top student in English. But I was also the top student in being grounded and expelled. I was never expelled, but I was constantly having detentions.
Yeah.
And so
For being disruptive.
she would say to me, for being disruptive.
Yeah.
I was just disruptive. And she said to me, and meanwhile, the guy who's sitting behind me, he's the real disruptive.
Yeah.
God almighty.
But he was quiet, right?
Yeah. It's
And he sat behind me like we were. It was really, it's quite something.
Yeah.
This guy has kind of haunted me my whole life.
Most teachers make such a huge impact, or can make a huge impact on your life.
Yeah.
Like mine was Mary Brickley, who I still am in touch with, and she was also the drama club person, and so she cast me in the first play, which was Penny Sycamore, and You Can't Take It With You.
Wait, I was the uncle, and You Can't
Oh
Take
my
It
God.
With You. I was the uncle.
We would have gone to the prom together because
Yeah, we totally would have gone to prom together.
Was my
Hello.
gay prom date? In Penny. Anyway, 'cause we were-
Depenna. Uncle Depenna.
Yeah, because we were both in the play together. Anyway,
I was in that.
She said, and it made me laugh. She said she was going through a really hard time, and because I was always trying to be funny, that we'd go into the auditorium, and I was like, I don't know, 14, and I'd say, I love the smell of the theater. This auditorium.
Do you think? I think teachers do like a wink, wink, nod, nod. Oh, sorry.
I want to talk about your awful teacher that used to point you out.
Outed me.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say. I think you said your English teacher like noticed you, or like I think.
Well, yeah, because I didn't finish my.
No, I'm sorry.
we
I was
were-
interrupting. Go
yeah.
ahead.
No, it's not. Basically, what happened was if I had a detention, what she would do was she would say, "Look, it's Scott. Write me a poem. If I like the poem, I'll let you out of class. I'll let you go early." So I would write poems for her. I never written anything, and I'd write her a poem. I'd dash off a poem, and she'd go, "Okay." And so that was it. She started me writing, and I thought maybe I can write. And so this whole thing is for me. I have to show her that her faith in me was not misplaced.
Well, you.
And so this movie is going to be for her, even though I've changed it tremendously and you wouldn't even recognize her. Because the truth is, I couldn't really recreate her because I didn't know her. Because you didn't know teachers in those days. They weren't like going, they weren't teachers of like today with like the pride flag and going, what are your pronouns?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a very different world.
I was gonna say, don't you think? At least my experience in Texas was because kids are not necessarily out, or we weren't out. You know what I mean? Like you were not like a 13-year-old, a 14-year-old, or even like a young kid who would say like I'm a gay. But I do think there were certain teachers who would like wink, wink, nod, nod, and kind, you know what I mean? Kind of bring you under their wing, or notice that about you. I won't say protect you, but like give you a safe place to create, kind of thing.
Like, I don't know if Mrs. Wright, that was her name. I don't know if she saw that in me, but she did see someone that she thought could be a writer. Yeah. I had a teacher named Mr. Potter who was a gay man. I mean, not then. No, nobody was openly gay. Sure. But he knew, and he did something remarkable for me and people like me. He had a little and he was also an English teacher and a Latin teacher.
Yeah.
And he had a little library at the back of the class. And there were all these books in it, like just paperbacks of all books. And he would say to people like me, he said to me one day, there's a bunch of books back there, Scott, that I think you might enjoy. And that's when I found Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin. Oh, wow. And I said, what this? He goes, yes, go read that. And so that's when I discovered James Baldwin. And then I read Another Country, and then I read The Fire Next Time, and then I read, If Beale Street Could Talk, whatever. And it was him leading me to James Baldwin.
Literally a banned book section in the classroom.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. City in the Pillar by Gore Vidal was there.
Oh my God. Speaking of good interviews, can we talk about Gore Vidal for 1 second?
Wow, that's the greatest.
Like the Evan Smith is that he owned Texas Monthly, or he was the editor for Texas Monthly forever, and he had a talk show on PBS. And he's like me, the worst interview ever. Can't ever, like, long-winded questions and then won't let the guest answer them. That's me. But Evan Smith is the worst at it, and the best thing ever was trying, and just futile to try to get Gore Vidal to answer anything succinctly, or even Gore Vidal will not be interrupted. The man will just bulldoze through everything because his story will take 10 minutes and he needs every last second to get it out. I love that old queen.
Yeah, I do too. I love those those were the guests I love, like Gore Vidal. Can you imagine a talk show today letting people have that kind of latitude? Like it just nobody can talk that long.
No, or just that
You know, like,
time. Yeah, let it simmer.
Yeah,
for a
and the
second.
references and he never like talked down to the audience. I mean, he's a bit of a snob,
Right,
but
right,
you
right,
know,
right.
yeah, Gore Vidal was a great guest.
I hope when I'm old, I have that I want that back of the throat. That I want to sound like that. You know what I mean? It's like,
I want to live in Italy, like in a villa, like he did.
oh, is that what he was doing?
I want a villa. Yeah, he was living in Italy.
Man, I gotta write
That's
books.
where I want. That's where you.
On book money.
Well, Garrett and I are going to retire at the donkey and mule rescue in Ireland. We're gonna like actually be with the animals. I think.
Is that where you really vibe?
I know I can't get off of the Ireland.
All right, where's your place? Are you like?
Canada's home for me.
That's
yeah.
where you like.
Will you tell me what
Do you?
Are you asking my ethnic origins?
No, I mean, sure. Just throw it out there. I wasn't, but let's hear it.
No, I'm mostly Scottish.
Okay, yeah. Oh my God, my family and I did we didn't. My parents did the 23andMe or whatever.
Oh yeah, me too. I did
When
that.
my great grandmother was born in 1895, I knew her. Right, she lived to be 98.
What?
Yes, I find that to be like that's the biggest brag I've got is that I knew a person from the 1800s. But she, wow, isn't that incredible? And she was totally like you could talk to her. Like she was an old woman who just died of being old, but she was not like senile. Anyway, but wait, why did I bring her up? Oh yeah, she lied to everybody and said we were Comanche Cherokee, which is not true. We're fucking Welsh. End of story. And she like
only Welsh.
yeah, but she's just from the old days where that was the spin, you know.
That was the thing. She was a pretendian. They say that.
Yeah.
Well,
I
I missed that. I didn't hear it.
No, what you said. Pretending.
Oh, pretendian.
That
Yeah.
I've never
Yeah,
heard
that's
before.
Canadian.
Because
Have you
it
heard
kind of
that?
gives you like some clout, to just say that. Like,
Oh
you
my
think,
God, I've never heard that. That's so
Oh
funny.
yeah.
Well, my mom thought there was a rumor going on that my great grandfather that we were Choctaw partly because my great grandfather was on. I guess was on a reservation, but it was just because he was a drunk and the Native Americans would take him in, and that was it.
Wow.
Yeah, so none of us are Indian. It's just we
Are you related to Are you related to Elizabeth Warren?
yeah, we're that type of Indian. We're that type of Native American. Yeah, we're more related to Elizabeth Warren than actual. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was so crazy. It's just like we benefited from the kindness of Native Americans.
Yeah.
Like we all Americans have.
I did my ancestry.com as well, and I thought, oh, maybe there'll be something interesting.
Yeah.
Although the idea of making it interesting, like what, Scottish isn't interesting?
Yeah.
It's so weird. But I found I'm 10% Viking. I'm 10%.
Oh, I'm
that's
so I kinda
good.
like that.
And why does anybody want to be, and you think, oh, that maybe there's royal blood, but the royals are more inbred than pugs. You don't want to be. That's not a good thing because they all just slept with each other.
And yet, I'm gonna say something in pro incest.
Oh, okay.
Because if it's so bad for their genes, why did the queen almost make 100? Like, why did they live forever?
Wait a
if
minute.
it's so bad for you.
Also,
You're right.
Have you been?
You're goddamn right.
Have you been to Iceland?
I
There
had a
are
really
some-
cute cousin, a super cute second cousin that I was very. Anyway, go ahead.
There are some handsome men in
Well,
Iceland.
second cousins are
And-
kissing cousins, right?
Yeah,
I
that's. I
guess,
think
yeah.
the medical
Kissing
term.
cousin?
Yeah, the medical term.
I
is
didn't
kissing
get that
cousin.
far though.
No, Iceland. They have. I mean, they're kind of inbred, but they're also hot. They're really sexy.
They are like they're
Oh, God,
Vikings.
yeah.
Oh,
And
And Viking. When I was
And the
there,
Vikings are you see. The Vikings are their DNA's everywhere. Like if you're from North Scotland, like my family, mostly from like the Orkneys, like even beyond Scotland, you got Viking blood in you. And what's interesting is that people want Viking blood because they you're basically going, you mean rape blood. It's basically what. Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure the Vikings had consensual relationships with people then, but
we're gonna.
But I mean, the Vikings. I mean, they're so hot.
They are sexy, and in Reykjavik, when I was leaving the bar, going home at like 3:30 a.m., you just saw all these like shirtless men running towards the bar, like getting things going at like 3-4 a.m. Yes,
and they're all blonde, right? blonde with blue eyes?
Yeah, I said they look like gorgeous horses. Really beautiful.
Some would say blonde and blue eyes are the ideal. Well, wait a minute.
No, stop right there.
Stop, Laura.
Well, my last name's Keitlinger, but listen, I have nothing to do with any of that. Okay.
I had to cut.
Hey, have you seen that guy online? He's the big Viking, and he's got a big beard, and he's always got an axe, and he does things with the axe. Like he'll dive off a cliff and do like a flip with the axe, and then land with the axe, holding the axe up or something. Oh, it's incredible.
It's hot.
Wow.
It's sexy.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super hot.
There's a guy who works
Super
out.
hot.
He works out on my street, and pre-pandemic, he still, when everybody ran outside and was like working out because they had no gym. So this guy forever, he flips a tractor tire, full big wheel. He flips it up and down the street all the time. And then he has these other metal bars that he brings out and does handstands and whatever that is. But very recently, he brought out a sledgehammer, which I think is funny because it looks like he's training for a crime. But he has
Gallagher 3.
He has a sledgehammer and he just does this up and down the street, which I think is some form of exercise. But I also think it looks like he's training to like kill his spouse. But it's just this up and down the street. But he's so hot.
But it sounds like so like 1920s, like strongman, like he should be in a one-piece bathing suit.
Have you seen Houdini's legs? Have you seen that man's legs?
Please. Oh, unbelievable.
He's so
he was so
fit.
hot.
Yeah, he's so sexy. Like, have you not seen that?
So
No.
sexy.
In that
Are
one,
you kidding
yeah,
me?
it's unreal.
I know exactly
The photo you're
talking about. No, I know. He never looked better than
It's on Scott's pillow. It's on Scott's pillowcase. He's been looking at it on the pillowcases.
Look at I'm from a generation which didn't have porn,
Right.
which didn't have the internet,
Right.
which didn't even there was no not even any gay porn. There was Playgirl,
Right.
and you'd have to steal that. But oh my God, my masturbation I guess material back then was the dance section in Time magazine. And there was a dance section, and I would masturbate to like Nureyev or
Sure.
and the other one, and then there was this gorgeous picture of Buster Keaton that I used to masturbate to.
He's
Wow,
handsome.
he was very
Incredible
handsome.
body.
So handsome.
But Houdini was the sexiest.
He was so hot, and he would wear that bathing suit. There's
So
a
hot.
shirtless photo of Leslie Nielsen. He's like getting out of a
Oh, God,
costume,
yeah.
and I think it's with Angela Lansbury or someone like that. He's stunning, and you're like goofy old Leslie Nielsen, like airplane Leslie Nielsen.
Sure.
So hot. He was beautiful.
Scott, we have
you
to
ever
close this up on Houdini's
But I was going to go into a young. But I wanted to just do a shout out to the young Ed Asner. Oh my!
Oh really?
No.
I don't believe it.
Yeah.
I don't believe
Oh
it.
no! Well, you Google it. You'll go crazy.
Okay.
I'm stunned already.
I can't wait. I didn't know.
You are so goddamn funny. Let's get Scott. Can we get your dates because this is going to come out next Monday, right?
My Twitter handle is Scott Thompson _. And I Instagram, I can't remember what it is.
We'll post it. We'll post it with the thing.
I'm the same. I didn't know I had Instagram.
Yeah,
and Garrett said, "Yeah, I've been putting stuff up for you." My young husband, my child bride, has been putting shit on Instagram for me.
I need a child bride.
So, is there do you have a website or just where do people find the dates that
I have a website. Oh my God, I hired. I have this social media manager, Melanie Vesti. She's doing a fantastic job.
Oh, great.
Because I'm so bad at this. But I do have a website called New Scotland Land.
Awesome. So then people can go there and find out where Buddy Cole will be.
Yeah,
And
everything's there. Yeah,
Awesome.
And it also will keep people. It'll tell people about where the screenplay is, what part of the process it's in, the development, and also I have an album coming out in the spring with my band, my old punk band.
Oh my God, I love that.
Amazing.
Yay.
We'll have to have you back when that
Oh,
happens.
that's so great. Oh, I'm so glad.
Yeah,
It was
we're called
wonderful.
Mouth Congress, and the album is called Valley of Song.
Beautiful.
Wonderful. I'm so glad we got to talk to you.
You're
and see
such
you.
an inspiration.
Yeah, and you're so prolific. It's phenomenal.
It's like an honor to talk to you every time.
You're
Thank
the
you
real
for
item.
being
You're
here.
the real
fun.
deal.
Oh, you
Love
are
you.
the real deal. That's the truth. Thank you, Scott Thompson.
you,
This was such a
Scott.
pleasure.
Have a great night.
Can't wait to see you soon.
I can't wait to see you both in real
I
life.
know.
I will.
You got to come to LA.
I'll be there soon.